Right, well, here I am. Here I am. Thank goodness I am. Because on Sunday, if some of you might have seen my Facebook posts, I had a bit of a scare and ended up in hospital. So I'm kind of just going to give you this video to tell you what's been going on. But beforehand, I'll just show you a little bit of footage I shot on my phone. It's only rough footage. I was just, you know, and I'll explain why I was able to do this in a minute. But this is the footage I shot of me just going off in an ambulance, bit of the BRI in A&E, just showing you what I saw from a patient's point of view, and then I'll watch that and I'll come back to you and tell you exactly what happened to me. Here we are, on the way to the BRI. After having a heart attack. Well, here I am hooked up to a machine behind me beeping away. I am now in A&E, but they're waiting for a bed in the heart place because there isn't one available yet. And I feel alright. So there you go, there was a bit of what it looks like to be a patient, bit of wheelchair stuff and everything, nothing particularly great, but you know, can't take the vlogger out of me when I'm away somewhere. Anyway, so basically what happened is, Saturday morning, I woke up at about 2 o'clock in the morning and I had a pain down my arm, and I thought, this doesn't feel right. And a slight pain across my chest, and well, the thing was, I'd been knapsack spraying and fencing all week, and I don't really know if you know knapsack spray, you have to get your arms in like that to pull it over your shoulder, and it's a lot of weight on your shoulders, and I thought, well, possibly I'd pulled a muscle across my shoulder, although I think being a kind of bloke, I was kind of the sort of bloke who doesn't like to admit to any illnesses or anything. I think I was thinking, let's not think what it could be, because it could be a symptom of a heart attack. And then so all day Saturday, it was very windy out here. All day Saturday, I still had this pain across my chest. So I was kind of trying to put it off, and then in the evening I sort of thought, oh, it's not great, but so cut a long story short, I woke up Sunday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning and that pain was still there across my chest, and at that point I thought, this is silly, I can't leave this any longer, and I was worried it was a heart attack. So I then phoned 999. Now if any of you know anything about phoning 999, it's quite a thing to do. You don't feel like wasting someone's time almost, which is ridiculous. So I phoned the ambulance and they turned up really quickly. They turned up at about 7:15 and explained what was happening, and they put some electrodes on me, and the words of the woman were, "We think you're having a heart attack." Now, when someone tells you words like that, that is quite frightening, because it wasn't like you've had a heart attack, it was, we think you're having a heart attack, so it was ongoing. At that point, I must admit, I was quite upset, as you can imagine, because in your mind you're going through all these thoughts. Am I going to die? Am I going to see my kids again? You know, a lot of things like that, you know, really weird. Okay, so I've moved inside because I was a bit worried about the wind noise on the camera. So anyway, as I said, they said to me, you're having a heart attack. Well, okay, so the next stage from that was they've got to get me to the BRI. But before they can get me to the BRI, Bristol Royal Infirmary, before they could get me there, they had to basically try and reduce the pain, because I did have some chest pain. And they said to me, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, how high is the pain? 10 being high. And I said, well, it's about a 4 out of 10. And she said, well, being a farmer, we know what you're like. It's probably worse because farmers tend to be quite resilient. And I said, well, no, it's not that bad. And so what she did, she gave me some, the paramedic gave me some intravenous paracetamol. And actually that helped really quickly. I felt a lot less pain then. So much so that when she offered me some morphine, I said, no, I don't need it. So at this point, they kind of looked at what was happening with me and they said, well, I mean, the way you are and the way you reacted to that, it is possible that you're not actually having a heart attack, and it could be more something else to do with the heart slightly. So already before I'd even got in the ambulance to go to the BRI, it was possible, and only possible, they couldn't tell till they did blood tests. It was possible that I hadn't had a heart attack and it could be something else. So that was okay. So at this point, I didn't feel that bad. The pain had gone because of the paracetamol. So I was in the ambulance, and that was when I decided to, you know, I'll just do a little bit of video, not much, but a bit on my phone. So that's hence why, even at the start of it, if you could hear me saying, I'm sort of saying I'm on my way to BRI after a possible heart attack, but I wasn't that down or anything. So I got into the BRI, fantastic. They took me straight into A&E, and I was incredibly lucky at being Sunday morning because there was hardly anyone there. In fact, I think I was the first person in A&E. I got in there about 8 o'clock in the morning. They put me in this little side ward, and that was when they then do this sort of proper test to see what's going on. Now, unfortunately, the IT was down, or the the computer system was down when I got there, so they were relying on paper systems. So they basically, what they did then, they decided to do a X-ray of my heart, but also they took some blood tests. Now, obviously, that's quite. I was wired up to a monitor to check my breathing, my heart, my pulse rate, oxygen level, I think, and the sort of all that stuff wasn't too bad. So we were waiting basically for the X-ray results and the blood test. Now I was waiting there quite a while. The staff were really lovely. I had a nice chat with a lady across the way. I did see some quite seriously ill people come in while I was there, and I was sort of like, well, there's nothing like me. So when the blood test came back, the woman said, well, actually, this is quite good news. And we're looking at this, and what they look at, and this is quite interesting, I find it interesting, they're looking for an enzyme in the blood that indicates you've had a heart attack. Now, if you've got a high reading of that enzyme, it indicates, I think, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think it indicates you've got either heart damage or you've had a heart attack. Anyway, the lady said to me, your reading's 18. I said, well, what does that mean? And she said, well, a reading for normal heart is 15 or below. So I still don't know the scale here, and I'm thinking, well, it's higher than 15, what's going on? She said, well, let me put it this way. Quite often we've had heart attack patients in that have got readings in the 1,000 or in hundreds. So my reading of 18 is actually not that bad. So then also took another blood test. They said, we'll do a second one to make sure this is right. But they also then looked at my heart on the X-ray, and basically so with all the stuff together to get the bigger picture, what happened is I had an enlarged heart causing the pain across here, and pretty well sure that that is actually linked with the COVID I had a couple of weeks ago. And this is something I've since discovered that quite a lot of people have had heart problems since COVID, and similar experiences to me. Because you might remember I had COVID a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know how much you really realise how ill I was. I was really ill. I mean, it's quite funny. Someone put on my Facebook page, "Oh, you're just playing up to it," and after someone said that, I didn't really say a lot about how I felt on the videos that you've watched. Some people picked up I wasn't very well. I really struggled after COVID. I really did struggle. I had it. I was really ill with it, but afterwards, I really did struggle, and I felt absolutely wiped out. And I think this is a problem that the heart was still struggling as well. Of course, you don't know that. And it was only last week I actually thought I was feeling better, and then, but obviously it wasn't. So, if you're an anti-vaxxer or you believe in conspiracy theories or something, don't comment on this video, because I'm likely to come around your house and lump you after what I've been through. And I know some people think very strongly about that, but you know what? You can off. So anyway, we are where we are now. The treatment I had from the NHS was amazing, and do you know what was really touching? Because it was my birthday when I went in there, and obviously I had to keep asking my date of birth all the time. He said, "What's your date of birth?" 8/5, and they basically clocked that and thought it was quite funny. It was my birthday, and then the lady who came in opposite me, she was 79. It was her birthday as well. So it was all a bit of a joke between them. Oh, it's 2 birthdays. What great birthday presents for you two. And unbeknownst to me, they'd gone off, and do you know what these people did? They went off and bought us both the birthday cake. And they also, you probably saw in the pictures, they also got a couple of those blue, you know, the gloves that you wear, and they blew them up and wrote "Happy Birthday" on it. And they didn't have to do that. What were we? We were just a couple of patients. Same as everyone else. They didn't know I was vlogging. I didn't let on that I was going to put this on YouTube. There's nothing in it for them. They paid for that out of their own money and just did it. And whew. And it just shows you what you've got working for the NHS. So I am incredibly grateful for that help and getting me back here. And I was very lucky. I was discharged the same day. I'm now on medication. I'm going to be taking statins because I have got high cholesterol along with high blood pressure. Statins for the rest of my life, I think. And luckily the enlarged heart can be treated with ibuprofen. I'm on that for quite a heavy dose of that for a couple of weeks to get the swelling down. And I've also got to be very careful. I'm going to take it a bit easier than I was before. I think part of the problem was that straight after COVID, I had so much to do, and I thought, well, I've had COVID now, get on with it, and didn't think about anything else. Whereas now I have to be a bit careful, but I'm very lucky. My brother's been covering the work along with another chap, and also at this time of year, it was before silage making and the cows are out. So we've got a lot. If I'd had this flipping in January, I don't know what we would have done. So I can cope with keeping on with this and being okay, hopefully, and it's good to be back home. As for the YouTube videos, well, I'm not going to be filming any particular ones over the next week or so, but I have actually got a backlog. So what I'm going to do, I've done there's one more cultivation of maize, there's a couple of chainsawing, a cattle one, and I've also got these really nice videos of a guy called Dave who lives in the village, 88-year-old Dave. They're really aimed more maybe at the people who live in Titherington and want to see a bit of their village history, but I'm going to put them on here anyway. 88-year-old Dave, who was my dad's school friend, walking around the village with me talking about the village history. So I'm going to have a bit of time to edit those, so they'll be popping up, but they will all have been filmed before this. Anyway, that's really it for now. All of you who sent messages and stuff, thank you so much. I will try and do my best to take it easy and stay alive for you, my family and everyone else. So you haven't seen the last of the Funky Farmer, thank God. Let's keep going, eh? Crack on. Crack on. I'm not cracked yet. Cheers all.